Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Thursday afternoon's presentation, this time from a company called EG Technology, which is one of the Cambridge product development engineering consultancies. And we have with us today Aishwarya Pattar, one of our graduates from the MEng program, and also EG Technology's recruiter, Sarah Knight. Yes, so I'm going to be quiet and hand over to Aishwarya. And whilst, if you have questions, please ask your questions in chat, or at the end of the presentation, please unmute yourselves and we can, put your hand up and unmute yourself. Excellent. So straight over to you, Aishwarya, and I'll switch myself off.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Aishwarya. Thank you for coming to this careers talk during your lunch break. And I'm glad to know that you're interested to know more about EG Technology and the roles that we have to offer. If you have any questions, please do write them in the chat box and we can get to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, I'll start off with some introductions and a little bit about me. I'm Aishwarya and I also studied here at Imperial during my undergraduate degree, and I graduated in 2019 with an MEng in biomedical engineering, and I specialised down the electrical engineering route. I applied for a graduate role at EG Technology because I wanted a career in which I could work on the design and development of medical devices. I've been working at EG for about 2.5 years now as a software design engineer, and I've really enjoyed my time so far. I love being able to work on a wide range of projects. So far, I've worked on about 10 different projects, ranging from embedded systems, desktop and mobile applications, and cloud-based applications. I'll go into specific case studies later on in this presentation, but it's really great to be able to dabble in such different aspects of software and really get to experience and develop skills in the field as a whole. And it's also very valuable for my own personal development. And then the same is true across all the other engineering disciplines at EG. My favourite aspect of working at EG is getting the opportunity to work closely with clients and design prototypes that meet their needs. I really enjoy the design process and the freedom of creativity that comes with it. It's always fun to sit with the team and brainstorm ideas together and watch the project evolve from there. So EG Technology is based in Cambridge and was founded in 2002. We're a small team, but we are growing. Last year there was 35 of us and now we're up to 41. The nice thing is that everyone knows each other, so it's a nice, warm environment to be in. The team consists of electronics engineers, software engineers, mechanical engineers, industrial designers, human factors, and regulatory and project management. We are a product design and engineering consultancy specializing in medical devices and consumer products. Most projects require the involvement of a range of these disciplines, so we work closely together across the teams. What I like about this is that there is opportunity to broaden your knowledge by working alongside others from different disciplines. EG specializes in making products for the medical and consumer markets. Our clients range from startups to blue chips, and we at EG transform their ideas into successful products and systems, starting from the initial concepts through to transfer to manufacture. I really enjoy developing products from start to end and watching how these projects grow. We combine innovation and experience with a targeted approach to deliver reliable solutions quickly and cost effectively. And as an engineering consultancy specialized in medical devices, we ensure we comply to standards for safety, quality, risk management, and traceability within the medical sector. This is critical, especially given that a lot of products we design can seriously injure consumers if something was to go wrong, especially invasive devices. We provide this expertise to clients to design them a successful medical device. As a consultancy, In order to create a minimum viable product, or MVP, for our clients, we go through our design process, which roughly consists of these following stages. The first stage is concept development. We work closely with our clients to understand their business goals, user needs, and target markets, as well as any manufacturing requirements and constraints they have. We take the client's ideas and research to specify the user requirements. This is essentially a statement of the end user needs from the user's perspective, and it describes what the product should do. This then leads us to specifying the product requirements. This document is a technical statement that describes what the product should do from an engineering perspective. The project team use these requirements to determine the work that needs to be done to develop the MVP. The concepts are then generated, which can involve the mechanical team generating the sketches of designs that meet the requirements and taking usability and human factors into account. It could involve the software team designing the storyboard, workflow, and architecture of how the product will function, and could involve the electronics team researching components that they are to use for the prototype. A test plan is also written, which tests each of the product requirements. This ensures that development is done with targets in mind, which will also be tested at the end of development during the verification stage. These concepts will be communicated back and forth with the client so that they can digest what's presented to them and give feedback to us. So technology development then leads on from concept development. This is the bit where we get practical. So it's where the software will be written, the electronics is brought up, and the mechanical case will be built. The team proceeds through a process of design, testing, and verification that covers usability, ergonomics, function, materials, and regulatory compliance to produce an alpha prototype. The alpha prototype is a proof of principle prototype designed to test the basic functions of the product, and it provides crucial feedback in these early stages of development. From the product requirements gathered in the previous stage, we use risk management tools to gauge the risk of the design and what can be done to reduce these risks with respect to the product safety. This is especially important for medical devices and diagnostic devices. It's important to consider all the ways in which a product could fail, the probability of that risk, the severity of the implications caused by the risk, and whether the product will be able to detect and handle the risk itself. This information then helps to shape the development of the next prototype, which is known as the beta prototype. The beta prototype is designed to look and work like the finished product. It has all the key features in place and allows more sophisticated testing and end user trials. The prototype undergoes verification testing to ensure the test cases and regulations are met. Documentation is critical for the product being audited and getting the CE marking or FDA marking it needs. In software, this involves having workflow and architecture documents and having sufficient unit tests. The prototype would then be ready to be manufactured. During the phase where the prototype is being transferred to manufacture, we oversee pilot production and volume production, and these stages are supported by a final round of testing. As you can probably tell by the number of times I've mentioned testing, verification testing is critical and it's a crucial part to the success of a medical device. Once the product is manufactured and out in the market, EG also provides support for the product's life cycle. Not all clients join us all the way from the start to the end of the design process. Clients have some flexibility in choosing which part of the design process they want. For example, some clients may already have a pre-production prototype and they just require the expertise to transfer this prototype to manufacture. Some larger clients may require us to generate the concepts and initial prototypes, but then they may have the means to manufacture the prototype in-house themselves. So on to some case studies. This incubator for premature babies was a project that EG worked on with Mom Incubators. Mom are a medtech startup, and they approached EG with requirements for a cost-effective, fold-away and lightweight neonatal incubator to give these babies a real fighting chance of survival. They wanted an incubator that was easily transportable and cheap to make incubators more accessible for hospitals, especially those in developing countries. EG worked on the entire end-to-end development of this incubator, from initial concept design to transfer to manufacture, and it required all the different engineering disciplines in EG to work together. A few months after I joined EG, I was involved in working on this project. I helped to design and write the code for the safety processor to ensure that the system stayed within the environmental constraints and trigger alarms if the environmental conditions were breached. For example, if the temperature went out of range, as this would be unsafe for the baby. Working on a device that can cause harm or death, this is classified as a Class C project. I had to ensure that the software I wrote was tested rigorously and documentation processes were in place. So as a graduate, you get to dive right into real projects and have ownership over a task. As this device is designed for neonates, the safety and efficacy of the device were of utmost importance. The device naturally had to comply to various standards, such as 60601, 62304, to name a few, and EG has the necessary processes in place so that engineers are trained to work to these standards to help clients achieve being CE marked. A few months back, Mom conducted some clinical trials which were a success. This photo is of a baby in one of the incubators that EG developed. This was great news to celebrate and very rewarding to see projects end up out in the field and helping people. This is another recent case study, and EG still work closely with this client. Angle is a specialist medical diagnostic company with pioneering products in the field of cancer diagnostics. They started work with us at the very beginning of the development cycle during concept generation. Angle approached us with a concept for capturing very rare circulating tumour cells, also known as CTCs, in blood samples for early cancer detection and post-treatment monitoring. Angle wanted to find a way to automate their parsortic cell separation system so that patient blood samples could be processed efficiently. The finished product is CE approved for use as an in vitro diagnostic device. Developing this product required us to use our skills and experience ranging across microfluidics, software development, mechanical engineering, and industrial design. The design team was instrumental in enabling Angle's vision to become a reality, and the parsortic cell separation device was successfully brought to market for clinical use. The parsortics technology has the potential to transform the way cancer is diagnosed, managed, and treated. The system is already being used in a number of leading cancer research centres in the UK. So Unhinder are a startup that formed in Imperial College London from Firat Guda's lab, and they designed the world's first AI-adjusted prosthetic device. The device consists of a wearable robotic liner that uses AI to learn the wearer's comfort settings and adapt to them automatically throughout the day. This is adjustable via a mobile app, giving the user complete control over their prosthetic. The row liner allows users to be as comfortable as possible and have to worry less about injury to their residual limb from wearing a socket, whilst also being a much cheaper option than a fully customized 3D printed prosthetic. So it really opens up a lot of doors for accessibility. Unhinder had already developed a prototype, but they required help in determining a regulatory pathway and roadmap for their route to market. They approached us with the challenge of identifying potential issues within the software, and formulating a development process to create a robust, safe, and effective end product within the required standards. I worked on this project about a year into my career at EG. Alongside others in the software team, we did a full analysis of the prototype, including the liner, electronics, and smartphone app, and code reviewed their software. This allowed us to identify gaps in the design and perform a full risk analysis to support Unhinder in their future development and help them kickstart the regulatory process. Whilst we didn't write any code in this project, the software expertise we have and knowing how to design and write software that complies to standards helps us to identify the risks. I also find risk analysis very fun as it's very collaborative and we brainstorm all the ways a prototype can potentially fail, and it really helps to drive the design process. The nice thing about working in a small company is that even if you are an engineer, these tasks such as requirements gathering and risk analysis don't just get passed on to another team. You do get to experience this area of design too. I think that helps to make us more rounded engineers and give variety in our work. NutriCheck is a point-of-care test that assesses a patient's risk of neutropenic sepsis, designed for cancer patients. It is aimed to be used at home or in a triage setting to monitor the patient and to inform if a patient needs urgent care or antibiotic treatment. This device benefits both patients to be more comfortable in their own homes and also relieves the pressure on hospitals. 52 North Health approached EG to support the design and development of the NutriCheck test housing. The housing had to be intuitive, easy for people with dexterity limitations to use, desirable for use in a home environment, able to actuate all the steps required for the assays to run, and also be low cost. Industrial and mechanical designers at EG work together with the client to design and develop the prototype. Using the client's usability and human factor studies, EG offered concept design solutions and integrated these studies into the development. We printed 3D prototypes in-house, which were useful to gauge feedback from the client quickly. And here are some other medical device case studies that we have worked on. Carclo developed flexible circuit technology, which consists of components that can be arranged in 3D form. We helped them develop their first medical device, a metered dose inhaler, which wirelessly sent data to a clinic to monitor user compliance and confirm the dosage that was dispensed. VivoSight is a multi-beam OCT scanner for point-of-care real-time tissue imaging. At EG, we undertook the aesthetic and detailed design of the product trolley and enclosure for the scanner, as well as accommodating for the functional elements of the scanner. We worked with dermatologists to understand how the scanner was used and design something that is easily usable for them. CFT specialise in affordable microfluidic assays for lateral flow technology. We work collaboratively with CFT scientists and engineers to design and develop the PICA, which is a precision immunoassay capillary analyzer. This project involved single-use disposable design, fluid mechanics, imaging, and user interface design. Sphere developed the Polaris device to accurately monitor blood gases, electrolytes, and drug levels in real time at a patient's bedside, but they required additional development to obtain CE approval as an in vitro medical device. EG made mechanical, electronic, fluidic, and software changes to the Polaris, which allowed them to achieve the CE approval they needed. SynBio is a leading bioengineering company specializing in single and multi-organ microphysiological systems, also known as organ on a chip. They approached EG for our track record of mechanical engineering and lab instrumentation development to help develop and automate an organ-on-a-chip device for the research of drug metabolism, toxicology, and liver disease. EG undertook the mechanical and pneumatic design, which regulated the pressure and vacuum supplies to drive the client's microfluidics platform. This product is now CE marked and used by scientists at the US FDA. EG Technology worked with Heartfelt Technologies to create an initial functioning prototype of a home monitoring system that monitors patients for signs of cardiac failure. This device is mounted to a wall in the patient's home and tracks their foot volume over time to identify edema, which is swelling of the foot. They then went on to achieve CE marking with this product. You can find out more about each of these case studies on our website, as well as many more case studies and blog posts about EG and our processes. So I'll talk through some of my projects that I've worked on during my time at EG. Most of these projects are under NDA, so I can't give specifics about the client or project. When I first started, I worked with senior engineers who oversaw my work and reviewed it to meet EG Technology's processes for design and the required ISO standards. As my career has developed at EG, I've been given more responsibility to design and manage projects. My first project was to develop a diagnostic app for a tablet to detect hearing loss. I joined at the technology development stage, and it was a really fun project to work on. I was involved with app development and UI design to make the tests more game-like and fun. I worked on experimenting and developing algorithms for a sound generator API that I created. This involved a lot of signal processing knowledge that I learned from my degree at Imperial. And I learned the importance of designing to standards. For example, implementing the hearing tests according to BSI standards. As mentioned earlier, I worked on designing and implementing the functionality of a safety processor in the mom neonatal incubator. If a product like this goes wrong, the consequences are very severe, even fatal. Some of our projects are like this, given the nature of the medical field, so the implementation of safety precautions is crucial. The intention of a safety processor is to independently monitor the state of the system and decide whether the system is safe. If not, it needs to alert the user and try to make the system safer. Then I worked on an embedded project which also involved an incubator, but this time to detect bacterial growth using fluorescence. This was a fun project to design and implement, and I gained a lot of exposure to client interaction. I started this project about 6 months after starting EG, and I was given more responsibility and trust in my designs and algorithmic implementations. It is nice to have that creative freedom and sense of ownership in a project, and I appreciate that EG provide the opportunity to do so early on in your career. The ammonia detector is a prototype that intends to identify elevated ammonia blood concentrations, which can have serious effects on the brain and liver. The client approached us with their idea. Then we gathered the requirements and designed a prototype to meet their needs with a lot of back and forth communication with the client. I worked on developing the desktop app used to visualize experimental data in real time and control a mass flow controller using serial communication. The 3D confectionery printer has also been a very fun project with a lot of client interaction. There's been a lot of vector mathematics involved, which I learned in my maths modules at uni, and I find it very satisfying to be able to use the knowledge and tools that we learn from our degrees and apply it into real projects that we work on. And my latest project is a soil sensor project. This is the first project where I am the main software engineer working on the project, so it's nice to have that responsibility over the design and development. When working on an embedded project, we work closely with the electronics team to ensure that the components chosen satisfy both the electronic and software requirements. With good object-oriented programming practice, we are still able to develop the software whilst the electronics is being finalized, allowing both of these to occur in parallel and be able to deliver to the client sooner. Most of the projects we do at EG are medical device projects. As you can see, we do have a few consumer projects that come along. As I mentioned earlier, I've been at EG Technology for about 2.5 years now, and I've learned so much and got to experience so much whilst having career progression and more responsibility. If you're interested in applying for an internship or a graduate role, I hope this gives you an idea of the types of projects we do at EG and the variety of work you could be involved with. EG specialises in making products for these markets: biotechnology engineering, consumer products, medical and diagnostic devices, and lab and test equipment. We've just seen some case studies of these. And then we have the 4 core engineering roles within the company: mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, software engineering, and industrial design. So we only have 4 teams, and each category is quite broad, which means that for each discipline, there's a lot to tackle because there aren't any further subspecialities. For example, being in software development, we could be working on app development, embedded systems, build servers, basic animations or games, signal processing, data processing, mathematical modeling, cloud development, etc. Also, from my experience, I've got to be somewhat involved in electronics work, especially as embedded software requires you to be able to read schematics and data sheets. It's also nice to have that interaction of working with others doing different things on the same project and working collaboratively to create an end prototype. For example, when troubleshooting a mass flow controller, I work closely with a mechanical engineer. He understood the fluidics more, and I understood how to program the device via serial communication. So we brought our specialties together to get to the bottom of the problem we were facing. Another thing I enjoy about my work is that even engineers are also involved in other tasks that aren't pure engineering. For example, all of my tasks don't involve writing code. During the conceptualization process, I'm involved with the requirements gathering, client meetings, risk analysis, storyboarding, etc. It makes my role feel creative, and it's a lot more satisfying to design something yourself or with your team and then go on to implement it. So there's a lot of diversity in the types of tasks we could be doing. On top of that, we may be working on more than one project at once, and they could be about very different things. And each project can be going on for different timescales. Some projects can take a few months and others can go on for well over a year. So this all keeps the work varied and interesting, and it's like each day you're working on something different. Okay, so here are the vacancies currently available for students. Every year we offer a 1-year internship. Interns are given a high level of support, mentoring, direction, and feedback that allows them to advance their skills and broaden their knowledge. Unlike some internships, you won't be given a project that is specifically designed for an intern. Instead, you'll get to dive into working on real cutting-edge projects we get from clients. You'll get to contribute to all aspects of the project development process, such as project startup meetings, brainstorming sessions, concept development, detailed design, prototyping, design for assembly, and transfer to manufacture. And then we have graduate roles for each engineering discipline. It offers similar to the internship. You'll dive straight into client projects and be involved with the whole design process and client meetings. EG value the staff that they have and like to keep hold of them. Appointments are made carefully with the aim of supporting and retaining employees. They listen to what areas we want to develop skills in and how we want to grow. Career progression, personal development and staff well-being are all high on the list of priorities. We have a few people who started their careers at EG as interns and have now been at EG for several years. If you're interested in applying for a role at EG, please visit our website to find job descriptions for each role. As bioengineers, we have a good broad understanding of engineering, which is useful for consultancies and seeing the bigger picture for projects. So consider each vacancy available, and you may find you have skills that fall across more than one job position. You can then email a CV and cover letter to careers@egtechnology.co.uk. Also, on our website, you'll find testimonies of other interns and grads, and you can take a look at more case studies and get to know more about EG. To give a rough idea of the interview process, EG reviews applications alongside the job advert and the job description, and if well suited, the candidate will be invited to a Microsoft Teams interview with Helen, who is one of our directors, and the team lead of the engineering discipline applied to. The interview will be in the format of an informal chat to find out more about you and also explain more about the job position we are offering. Progressing from this, the candidate would then be invited in for a face-to-face technical interview where you'll be given a technical task to complete. The interview will take place with a director and the team lead. The interview allows a candidate to see the environment they could be working in, discover about the career development opportunities and exciting projects we work on, and potentially meet the team that they would join. It gives the candidate the opportunity to really see what EG is all about. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope you found this presentation interesting and informative. If you have any questions about EG or myself, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aishwarya. I think we have got at least one question in chat. Sally asks, does EG have an advanced or more senior role for PhD graduates?
So the role won't be explicitly stated as such, but I believe PhD graduates can still apply for the graduate roles or for one of the main roles that don't specifically state graduate, because then that level of seniority will be adjusted when the candidate's accepted. So it'll be at interview stage that it would be assessed, I guess.
Thank you. And I think you said earlier, Aishwarya, that you do have some Imperial PhD graduates working with you. Is that right? So yes, certainly open to them. Thank you very much. Any more questions from anybody? And do you want to unmute themselves, put their hands up, unmute themselves, or continue asking questions in chat? So the internship roles you offer would be 1 year long, not short, not summer internships or shorter internships.
No, EG only offers 1 year internships, and I guess the intention behind that is then you get to really work on a project or several projects and dive right in. There'll be that initial training of understanding how to work to all these processes that I mentioned and standards and such. So I feel like a 1 year really allows you to dive right into it.
Thank you. And for the jobs and internships, are there particular closing dates? Maybe Sarah could answer that question. She might know more about closing dates.
Yeah, happy to answer that question. We're looking for end of February.
Right. Okay, so for all those roles, for the graduate roles.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. Good. So plenty of time. Yes, nearly a month. Thank you very much, Sarah.
No problems.
Anybody else want to ask a question of our two people whilst we have them here? So whilst we're waiting, I think one of the big challenges, surely, of your work, Aishwarya, is that you were actually constantly changing projects. So that there must be a big, and also the clients will require different kinds of skills. I mean, I think that you mentioned quite a lot of programming work involving C and C++, etc. But how do you quickly acquire the new knowledge that those clients require from you?
Yeah, so whilst you can have more than one project going on at a time, when I started out, these projects tended to be sequential instead, so there wasn't too much overlap, and I think that's good because it gives you the opportunity to keep your headspace within one project. There was a lot of things to learn, such as in this slide, the top 3 boxes, that's C#, C and C++, all within about 6 months. But the good thing is that EG understand that you are new and it's you will require training. So we can book time towards training, and that's encouraged. So actually, when I first started each of these projects, I'd done C and C++ at uni, but C#, I was I'd asked, can I just take a little bit of time to learn this language? And the EG were happy with that. So I think I spent a few days or a week just going through different tutorials independently to learn and get up to speed.
Thank you very much. And there was a question and answer from Sarah in chat. When do the roles start? And Sarah says summertime to September, you're flexible. I would like to say that some of our MSc students will only be finishing their programs towards the end of September. So I hope that there'd be time there for them to start end of September, early October. Sarah?
Yes, we're fairly flexible, so that's not a problem at all. Brilliant.
Excellent. So there's loads of very interesting information about your projects on your website. So I hope people will look at the examples of projects there. What else is there? Well, obviously, we have quite a lot of international students in Imperial College, and I know that the rules and regulations have changed a bit recently. So international students applying to you, maybe Sarah, if they're from outside Europe?
Yeah, EG Technology don't actually offer sponsorship, and that's throughout the whole board of the company. But more than happy for them to apply, but unfortunately we can't offer sponsorship.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions from anybody? And your offices, are you in Cambridge or are you outside of Cambridge?
We're outside of Cambridge, so we're north of Cambridge, near a village called Stowe. So it's out of the hustle, bustle and busyness, and we've got a converted barn in a field, so it's nice and open. And we're looking to also extend our building to make more space as we grow.
Brilliant. That's excellent. And what's happening in the world of medical devices, medical technology? Is this an expanding area, or has it been affected by COVID? There's sort of multiple questions there.
So we weren't affected by COVID actually, because a lot of our projects are medical devices, and actually during COVID a lot more medical devices came along, especially projects where they're trying to tackle COVID, help create tests to detect COVID. So our company actually did thrive, even though a lot of us were working from home during the initial part of 2020 when it started. So things have been going well for us as a business, and that's why we've luckily been able to keep growing.
Good, and that's why you have such an interesting range of opportunities on your website. Perfect. Well, I can't see any more questions in chat. Can't see any hands raised. So if that is the case, perhaps we could and if people suddenly think of questions, they can email Sarah or Aishwarya, I presume.
Yep, there's emails provided here. I believe a PDF of this will be put onto Blackboard, so yep, you can feel free to contact me or careers@egtechnology.co.uk as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's great. Well, I'd just like to thank Aishwarya and Sarah very much for an excellent presentation, very, very interesting presentation. I hope that more of our students will apply to EG technology. We certainly have bioengineering graduates other than Aishwarya working there, so I hope you will apply. But thank you also to our students for attending this afternoon, and I better leave you all to the rest of your very busy afternoons, and thank you again, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.